My name is Dana Castro, and I'm an application specialist at Brookhaven Instruments. In this video, I will be introducing our new software suite, Particle Explorer. This suite includes everything you need to perform light scattering measurements on our research-grade goniometer. When the software has been downloaded onto your computer, double-click the shortcut. This splash screen will appear. This has all of the software options based on the measurement you would like to perform. Let's start with the DLS measurement. Once the measurement type is chosen, an additional window will open. For DLS, the default display shows the database, where completed measurements are stored, and the correlator control window. Let's first go over navigation bar functions. File. If you ever close out of the database window and need to reopen, select Database, and it will reopen. If you are moving measurement data from one computer to another, or need to send data to Brookhaven for assistance, highlight the measurement or measurements you would like to send, then click Save Archive File. This will prompt you to save the file to a location where you can then attach it to an email. To reload an external measurement, select Reload Archive File and select the file, and it will be automatically added to your database. If you select Restore Default Configuration, it will reset the main screen to contain the correlator control window and the database. Options. Selecting Options will open an additional window with 4 tabs. General. Check the box to have measurements automatically saved to the database. Otherwise, you will have to manually save measurements when they are completed. Goniometer. Here, select what hardware your instrument is configured with. Check the box or boxes that apply to your system. Brookhaven offers all of these options, and they can all communicate with the software. For example, the motor controller allows angular measurements to be completely automated, while the temperature controller allows the temperature of your sample area to be controlled right through the software. Reports. Under Report Settings, you can choose what graphs and data you would like to appear on a printed or exported report of your measurements. You can also choose how large these graphs appear by selecting everything to either fit on a single page or each graph gets its own full page. If you would like an image such as a logo to appear on a report, select Browse to import the file. Use the Image Scale modifier to increase or decrease the resolution of a JPG image. The larger the number, the higher the resolution. Export template. If you'd like to interpret the raw data collected in Particle Explorer in an external software program, use this tool. When you click Export Template Settings, you will be given a list of data types. Select the data you would like to be exported in the left column and move it to the right. When you've selected all that you require, click OK. Then check Activate Template because this data export will be done during the measurement live. Instrument. Here you will be able to control parts of the instrument you have connected. Under Goniometer, you can set the angle you're currently at and input a desired angle. Under Laser, you can adjust laser power, and under Temperature, you can control the temperature. Correlation functions. This is the correlator control window. It will be the main window through which you set up and begin your measurements. Should you close out of it at any point, you can reopen it here. Overlay. If you have multiple measurements open, you can view an overlay of many graph types. SPC. Statistical Process Control allows you to select a set of measurements and view statistics on effective diameter or polydispersity. The tool can set up automatic upper and lower control limits, or you can specify your own to determine outliers. 2-variable graph. This tab allows you to graph a number of variables from your measurement on a set of XY axes. Window. This tab can help you organize the layout of your windows so you do not have to manually size them. Smart Tile is my personal favorite, but you have many options. Here, you can bring the database back into view if it is blocked by other windows. The Help tab provides important software information. Now that we've gone through all of the options in the navigation bar, we are ready to set up a DLS measurement. With the correlator control window open, let's click through the options. The Start button is used to start and stop a measurement. Clear will clear any collected data from the window. The Save button will make sure your measurement is saved to the database. This is useful for saving a measurement that is stopped before the set measurement time. Parameters. Here is where you will begin to set up your measurement. Fill in a desired sample ID, operator ID, group ID, and any notes about the measurement or sample. Choose what diluent your particles are present in. If your diluent is not on the preloaded list, you may enter your own by selecting Unspecified, and you can type in your diluent. In this case, you will need to provide the viscosity and refractive index of your diluent at the temperature and wavelength you are measuring at. Fill in the angle you would like to make your measurement at. Enter the wavelength of the laser you are using. The Brookhaven standard laser is 640 nanometers. If you would like, record the concentration of your sample. This is for record-keeping purposes and allows for additional graphing options. Choose self-beating for most DLS applications. Homodyne is a very rare case. You can refer to the manual for more information. You'll notice throughout the software there are information icons. Click these for additional info on any setting. When in doubt, click the eye. Fill in the real and imaginary refractive indices of your particle. This is not necessary to calculate the effective diameter or polydispersity, but it is used in some of the graph transformations. If your particle is a color other than white, it will have a value for imaginary refractive index. Refractiveindex.info is a great database to find refractive indices. Normalization. Choose what baseline to display and use for size calculations. Dust filter. Particle Explorer has a dust rejection algorithm that will take into account the expected size range of the particle and kick out any scattering data that doesn't match. It is a useful tool in addition to good physical sample preparation. All parameters in this window can be changed after a measurement has been completed should you input something incorrectly or you want to reanalyze with a different value. This is useful as you do not need to repeat a measurement if you choose the wrong diluent, for example. Once all of your parameters are filled in, click OK to save. M-base. These settings will help you position the measured baseline. Autoslope analysis is for general purpose use. The software will attempt to detect the flat region at the end of the exponential decay, which is a good place to start analysis. Manual will allow you to choose a specific time where the software should interpret the baseline to be at. Nonlinear fit uses the Levenberg-Marquardt algorithm. This algorithm positions the baseline using the slope analysis of the fitted correlation function instead of the raw data. This is rarely used, but it is useful for samples with noise in the baseline. You can also adjust how many correlator channels you would like to be used in the baseline calculation. Layout. The correlator is completely customizable to a broad range of sample types. Assign the settings you would like for the measurement. For example, you can modify these settings to optimize the measurement for samples below 20 nanometers. Refer to the manual for a detailed explanation of these options. Control. Here, you can choose how long you would like your measurement to last. Setting a time is the most common, but you can also end the measurement based on samples, counts over baseline, or baseline difference. You can also do time-dependent measurements or angle-dependent measurements. Under Angle Dependent, you can choose to make DLS measurements at a specified list of angles. To modify this list, click Edit Angle List. Here, you can add or delete angles. Report. Once a measurement has been collected, you can preview or print a report from this window. This will take into account the choices you made in the options. Once you have filled in all of the parameters, you can start the measurement. While the measurement is running, let's take a look at the correlation function options. A set of axes that will display the correlation function live during a measurement is the default. If you click Correlator Data, you can view some of the parameters you had input previously, or some numerical data that is being recorded during the measurement. To return to the correlation function, select Graphs, Correlation Function. In this tab, you can also choose to view a few different graphs instead, such as the log normal distribution. Under Integrated Size Distribution Analysis, ISDA, you can view graphical representations of the size distribution of your sample. For example, non-negatively constrained least squares, NNLS, will display a new set of axes that allows you to view your size distribution by a few transformations: intensity, volume, surface area, or number, along with some additional graphs. Once you have selected the graph of interest, you can click Summary, and this will display distribution data. The second window is another graph window where you can choose to view an additional graph and display it side by side with the graph you have displayed in the first window. You may export the graph or the data to multiple formats so that you can place them into reports or do further calculations with your preferred software. Once a measurement has completed and is saved in the database, it can be reviewed by double-clicking it. Here, you can see all collected data, as well as modify any parameters to reanalyze the data. For example, you can even modify the baseline normalization. Choose Manual, and you can slide the cursor back and forth to determine a place where you'd like the baseline to be calculated. If you have recently made or saved a measurement, you may need to hit the refresh button for the database to display the most recent data. You have a few options when it comes to organizing and navigating through the database. The filter option allows you to search through the database for measurements based on date and/or a number of parameters such as sample ID, group ID, etc. You can also sort the data in the database by the column headers. In addition, you can add additional columns into view so that you have more sorting options, or to display the parameter that is most important to you. Once your database grows to have pages and pages of measurements, you can navigate the pages here at the bottom and also choose how many measurements you would like displayed per page, up to 2,500 measurements. That was an overview of the DLS software capabilities. Let's take a look at another measurement type. To perform any light scattering measurement, especially a static light scattering measurement, the goniometer must be in good alignment. An alignment is typically performed by a Brookhaven technician or an experienced user. To check that your instrument is still in good alignment, use the IST goniometer alignment software. Click IST from the splash screen. A database will appear into view. Let's take a look at the navigation bar. It is quite similar to the DLS navigation bar. File. Here you can archive files or reload them. Options. Here you can import an image or logo that will appear on any report printouts. Help contains valuable information that can help Brookhaven troubleshoot with you in the future. Select New Measurement. Here you will be able to set up an alignment check measurement. A new window will open. Let's look at the navigation bar of the measurement window. File. Here you can save a measurement, bring the database into view, or exit the measurement. Options. General gives you the option to autosave measurements. Goniometer allows you to check off what your instrument is configured with. The Reports tab will allow you to import an image. Hardware. Hardware configuration. Choose your detector type and the detector dead time will automatically be entered. If you have a detector with a different dead time, you may manually enter it next to other. If you have any additional detectors, such as a reference detector or a second detector for cross-correlation applications, check off the appropriate box. Click OK to save your settings. Under Instrument, you can move the goniometer arm to a desired angle, adjust the laser power, or adjust the temperature. To set up an alignment check, click Experimental Parameters. The default settings are appropriate for this measurement type. Duration repeat defines the amount of time used to collect data for each repeat as assigned below. Number of repeats represents how many times an intensity measurement will be taken at the duration specified above. A minimum of 3 is recommended. The larger the number of repeats, the longer the measurement will take, but the more accurate the measurement may be. 5 is a good number for an alignment check. All of our software packages include an algorithm that eliminates signal thought to be caused by dust. The dust rejection ratio takes your average count rate and eliminates any count rates that are outside of that ratio. The multiplier describes how many times it will try to achieve an acceptable count rate. For example, the number of repeats desired is 5. That means the software will take up to 15 measurements to attempt to get 5 repeats that are all within the dust rejection ratio. The 3 radio button options at the bottom are for note-taking purposes. There are 3 pinhole sizes for SLS that you would set manually on your detector optics, and select the one you chose here. If you have a polarization analyzer in place, select which direction. Select whether you have an interference filter in place. All detectors have a small amount of noise. To account for that, we need to record the signal so we can disregard it from our sample signal. If you have one detector, that will be considered your A detector. An additional detector will be detector B. Click the dark count rate button. Here, a measurement will begin for collecting the detector's noise. Make sure your optics are closed so that no light is being measured. Repeat this a few times to make sure that it is consistent. This must be done at the start of every measurement. When completed, you may click OK to close out of the window to save the parameters. Next, click Sample Parameters. Here, input your sample name, operator ID, and any other desired information. You must also check that the refractive index values are correct. The vat liquid recommended by Brookhaven is Decalin. It has a refractive index of 1.474, very close to that of glass, which is 1.5. Since we are only checking if the instrument is in good alignment, we will not be measuring a particle sample. In this case, the sample liquid is Decalin, so we will input 1.474 here as well. If you use a vat liquid or sample other than Decalin for this measurement, make sure to input the correct refractive index value. Check Apply Reflection Correction to correct for the fact that a measurement at any angle also includes a small fraction of the intensity measured at the supplement of that angle. Select OK to save the parameters. We must select a set of angles to measure at that will cover the broad range of the instrument to check the alignment. Click Angles, Edit Angle List. There will be a default list, and this is recommended for alignment checks. If you would like to measure at less angles, different angles, or additional angles, you can make those changes within this window. Once you have input all of your desired parameters, you can begin the measurement. A prompt may appear asking you to enter the current angle the goniometer is at. If so, input the correct angle so the software knows how to continue the measurement. When completed, the measurement window will display additional information. A graph and 2 additional columns will appear. If your instrument is in good alignment, the percent error normalized to the average corrected scattering intensity at each angle will all be less than 1%, or all red. This means that your system is ready to make static light scattering measurements. If any angles are out of the 1% range, the system may need to be realigned. Contact Brookhaven Instruments for more information. Save your data and run this type of measurement routinely so you can detect a misalignment in a timely fashion. Now that we've made sure our instrument is in good alignment, we can confidently make static light scattering measurements. Let's start with the SLS measurement type. This software is just like the alignment software, except instead of giving percent error values, you will be able to view radius of gyration results along with multiple plots unique to your sample. When you open a new measurement, the only thing that you will have to fill in that is different from the alignment software is under sample parameters. You must input the temperature that the measurement is taking place at, the wavelength of your laser, and the liquid your particles are suspended in. If the liquid is not on the list, choose unspecified and enter your own along with its refractive index at the measurement temperature. Before, during, or after your measurement, you can select the graph you are most interested in plotting. You can view different plots at any time. Otherwise, all settings are the same as that in the alignment software. If you would like to measure at a set of angles that is different from the default set, go ahead and change them before your measurement begins. Click Start to begin your measurement. The software will prompt you to input the angle the goniometer is currently at. Then it will ask you if you would like to measure your pure solvent first. This is recommended. Then it will ask you to insert your sample. Once your measurement is complete, you will be able to view and interpret your data. For example, you can remove outliers. Turn your attention to the data table on the bottom right-hand corner. There are angles and intensity data. Double-clicking any of those will remove that piece of information from the calculations. On the bottom left-hand side, you'll see First Data and Last Data buttons. First Data will remove all data before the selected data point, and Last Data will remove all data points after the selected data point. If you'd like to restore all of the data that you deselected, click Restore All. You may also view different plots, modify the fit, and see your calculated results. You can also export data or print reports or graphs, just as in any of our software packages. Last, but certainly not least, our most popular static light scattering measurement type, the ZIM plot. Click ZP from the splash screen. This will open the measurement database. Click New Measurement. The setup of this measurement is just like that of SLS and IST. Under sample parameters, there are a few more things you must enter. You must know the DNDC of your suspension. If you don't, you can always enter it later and reanalyze your data. Brookhaven also offers a differential refractometer for measuring the DNDC for your unique sample. You must perform a calibration with either toluene or benzene. Once you have selected the liquid, click Calibrate Instrument. This will walk you through how to perform the calibration. You must have a pure and filtered liquid for this step. Perform the calibration a few times to make sure the value is repeatable. Select what chain model best describes your particle. You can always change this later. Input a depolarization ratio if you have one. When you have entered all of the parameters, click OK to save. Enter all other settings as desired and discussed in the alignment software setup. Once completed, you may start your measurement. Then it will ask you if you would like to measure your pure solvent first. For Zim plots, you must have at least 3 concentrations of your sample. The software will prompt you when it is ready for the next sample. The concentrations must be accurately prepared and calculated out to 4 decimal places in milligrams per milliliter. Brookhaven can provide you with a helpful spreadsheet for this. When your measurement is completed, you can review your data. First, you are given the option of adjusting fits, as well as removing any angles, or concentration data you don't want included in your calculation. When you are satisfied, click Calculate. This will fit the Zim plot and provide molecular weight, radius of gyration, and second virial coefficient. You may return to the raw data by clicking Settings. This allows you to go back and forth to compare fits and determine your outliers. Then you can export your data or print reports as necessary. Thank you for watching our tutorial on our research-grade goniometer software package, Particle Explorer. We hope this helps you get your measurements started. As always, feel free to contact us if you have any questions at our email address, info@brookhaveninstruments.com, or call us at 631-758-3200.